Indiana season tickets were on sale, Brad, and then they sold out. It's Indiana Hoosiers Live 70 presented by FanDuel. God, I was so excited to start with basketball.
I was too, because I thought it was going to be good news. I feel like, you played the intro song, and I was like, man, this music should be a little more doom and gloom, I feel like, right now, for what's going on. If we weren't a football school before, I think it's safe to say it's full on a football school. Now the narrative is, how do we become an everything school? How do we get basketball back to traditional standards? But even then, like, it's not even at a point where it's like traditional standards and expectations are the problem. It's they're not close. I'm gonna lay out some facts for you. They've lost to Northwestern 6 straight. 4 of those at home. This year, they are against Ken Palm top 90 teams, 4-11. Now I skewed that a little bit. Could be 6-11 if we do top 100. Does that sound like a basketball school to you? Does that scream a program that's close? Now, yes, first year head coach. Yes, completely overhauled the roster, 13 new scholarship spots. Yes, we can put all these excuses out, and yeah, poor roster construction for sure. But that's what it is. It was poor roster construction. I think there's arguments to be made, and I was defending this early on too, and I'm starting to think, maybe I was wrong potentially. I don't know. I'm trying my best not to overreact.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
The
I
team
understand.
plays well. They're just not good. I know with better players, this Indiana could be back. It's a Jimmy's and Joe's sport. Are we gonna get good players? Is that gonna happen? That's
Well,
kind of where I think where my head's going after a loss like this, to where is Indiana even still a destination spot for guys? Yes, they'll have the lore, and yeah, reel me in, please.
yeah, I think Indiana fans are feeling or at least in the immediate, like where our feet are right now. It is very doom and gloom. I think you're right. I think the intro music, while like and we'll get to football, right? Like really exciting day for Indiana football and the future of Indiana football. But when you're talking about the present of Indiana basketball, this could not be a more frustrating day. That being said, and I'm going to split these two conversations because I'm not going to act like I didn't sit here with a scowl on my face for the last 10 minutes, like refusing to set up the podcast link and like be upset, borderline embarrassed about the way the team played, especially after the coach emails the entire student body and is basically like, pack this place, we need you guys. And to play like that is frustrating is the right way to put it. Maybe it's not a strong enough word, but as an instant reaction, I'm not sure there's another way to feel. The other thing that happened today in the Indiana basketball world is they went out and they hired Ryan Carr, a really significant hire. It gained universal praise from across the basketball world. He was, I believe, the assistant GM for the Pacers, if I'm not mistaken. I know he was handling a lot of their draft prep and a lot of their scout stuff. Like I said, universal praise across the basketball world from draft guys. They went and got somebody who specializes in both scouting and roster building. And the stuff that was coming out today about On3 with quotes from college coaches are like, if you wait for the transfer portal to open in April, like it's almost too late. And I know you were joking when you were talking about Dusty May and like when he was playing these guys last year, like
I was
dropping
dead
subtle
serious.
hints. But like you're right. Like you have to play the game a little bit ahead of what the rules even allow you to do. And so the current standing of Indiana basketball, holy hell, what a frustrating second half of that basketball game. Especially the fans were excited. The Burner Army got hashtag Burner Balcony trending to number 6 in the, like, not just in like people's like whatever like for you trends, like in the country. Like there was like, people who were excited about this basketball game to come out and play like that. Unbelievably frustrating. But to add somebody like Ryan Carr to your staff, to take him from 10 years ago, that guy's going to be a GM in the NBA this offseason, and now he's going to be running basically basketball ops for Indiana. So if you are somebody who, and we've repeatedly, like, I'm trying to find the silver linings, right? Because I'm not you're not going to find me doing is defending the way the team played today in the second half. But as a whole across this season, they've played a really fun brand of basketball. If you're talking about it being a Jimmy's and Joe's sport and getting the right guys in here to run the system, they brought a guy in here who's highly capable of doing just that. So, um, not the Indiana basketball conversation I thought we were gonna be leading into this show with, yeah, that's kinda where my head's at, Brad, is, like, immediate, like, yeah, I don't know what you want me to say about that performance, but in the long term, this program's gonna be fine. Yes, we're gonna get good players, and they're making moves to ensure that. Like, Ryan Carr is not just some guy they brought in off the street and, like, we'll hope he's good at his job. Like, universal praise
Home run
across
hire
the
for
landscape.
sure. Home run hire for sure. Definitely a step in the right direction. Probably the best move DeVries has made as a GM, obviously. Initial with an through like an initial thoughts type lens. Like definitely the biggest splash move he's done. Probably that and then Lamar Wilkerson signing. Probably the two biggest moves he's made since taking the job. Lots of reasons to be concerned. Like I think for me, like watching them, I think it's the first time in like 10 years where we've seen, a true college system being run. And like I think maybe I gave DeVries too much credit for, and I'm not trying to say he's bad or good right now. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is I think there's still just, I think it's still just more time to evaluate, which is it's getting old saying that stuff, right? Like give it some
That's the
time. And
frustrating part is, like,
yeah,
you bring in a team of transfer seniors and you load the thing up and you're like, "Our biggest strength is we're gonna be able to shoot threes, and regardless of size, we're gonna play fearless defense," and their Achilles heel all year has been they go cold in the second half around the 12-minute mark, and they can't get a stop. And it's the exact like, it's every issue that people had with this roster going into the season has been what was first of all immediately justified by the size, but then second of all, like even the strengths of this roster and the people who are trying to cling to like, okay, we'll be able to shoot and we'll be able to move the basketball and at least it'll have like the crowd popping and things like that. Like, and I don't know. I was having this thought as I was watching these basketball games. Is like I watch a lot of Indiana, obviously. Like I try and watch all the Hoosier games, and especially when the football season ends. But like I don't watch a ton of like other college basketball. So when these teams come and they play Indiana, it's like, oh my god, like the perimeter defense of these schools is ridiculous. It's like, is that the case, or do I just need to watch more college basketball? Because then you watch these high level programs play like Houston and like Kansas and like
yeah.
Duke
Watch the
and
Michigan
Michigan's
game
and
and an
like
Illinois game. You'll
the
know what I mean by Jimmy's and
and
Joe's.
Illinois and like Purdue the other night is just like, how the hell did we beat that team? And it's like, yeah, it's if you were skeptical about the DeVries hire, like this isn't helping. But like I said, I as somebody who did believe in the hire and who believes in the direction of the program and especially like the signaling of going out and getting a guy like Ryan Carr, um, obviously like that's not what you want to lean on coming out of this basketball game. You want to be talking about the crowd and the way they played and the like the way Lamar started the game. Like you're looking like he could be going for 40 or 50 in a yeah, frustrating is the word.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for the kids. They're all seniors. A lot of these guys playing their last year of college basketball, likely to miss the tournament. They were on the bubble, suffered their second bad loss of the year, which isn't great considering they only have two
This was the
quad
first
ones.
quad 3 loss.
Yeah, not great. Doesn't really put them in a position to be successful. Now they can turn around. There's still 3 games on the schedule that they can leverage to turn around, as we know and as everyone should know by now, unless you're living under a rock. The tournament really doesn't do you any good unless you win the whole thing. And none of those wins really count toward your resume, and you just have to
Well,
win. And
even
punch
then, Michigan,
going.
they was it what year was it where Michigan won the Big Ten tournament, was a 5 seed?
It was last year.
It's like literally last year.
And I was telling you that before it happened. We already knew all this stuff, and none of it ever surprises me. There's a lot of reasons to be hopeful. It's a true college system. They run sets, I think it's been restricted. Like we saw more complex sets early on when we had a personnel advantage. Then we kind of just shift toward this feed Dorn, feed Wilkerson, feed DeVries, get them out and get them open threes. Less cutting to the basket, less open looks around the basket. So that's a reason to be concerned, is that the fact that, it seemed like we got constricted. Maybe that's a personnel issue. Maybe it's a DeVries issue. We need more time to kind of see. We need a larger sample size, and we need a new roster to kind of evaluate. And it's hard to tell until we invest the money again into this guy. We just need to put money into it. I think what's concerning is that I think there were a lot of reports out there where it's like we're one of a few teams to spend over $10 million on a roster, which I don't think is true. I think we spent some of the most out of the portal this year because we had to complete a roster, and I think that's what that article was saying. I read it a little bit as I was watching the game. It wasn't necessarily about the complete roster. I think, we have some pieces, as in just Dorn, got a couple good freshmen coming in, but can't rely on freshmen really to kind of step in unless they're going lotto, right? Unless they're all conference guys, you can't just bank on, and you can't bank on freshmen being all conference guys. You just can't. Just very frustrating. Lots of reasons to be concerned. The sets thing that I've mentioned, the lack of ability to go out and get a big man. If they don't do that this offseason, what is there to even evaluate at this point? We all know what's going to happen. It's going to be the same thing all over again. I think another thing that concerns me is, DeVries' resume without Tucker on the roster. Yeah, he got West Virginia to a bubble spot, but he also had an NBA point guard. He had small. He's playing on the Grizzlies right now. We don't have a guy like that. Connor, and that's not a slight on Conway. Conway's actually been playing, kind of figuring it out. It's just another weird silver lining amongst this 2-game skid between Purdue and Northwestern. He's been the best player, surprisingly enough. And there's a lot of, it just seems like this team hasn't been able to gel, and that's kind of concerning. They haven't been able to find consistency. I think the second half skids have become a common theme now, especially after watching this game. Their inability to kind of hold leads. It's been, because they get off to hot starts. Most games they do, and they seem to let teams come back into it a lot. And I think there's a lot to be concerned about. There's also, enough to kind of be patient with and just understand that there's, I think these things take time. But here's the reality. Dusty May was able to get to the tournament his first year at Michigan, coming off a Michigan team that didn't make the tournament. And there's plenty of other examples like that. I hate to use Dusty May as the example, but that's just the first one that popped in my head. But there's other examples of that, right?
Well, I would think if you really wanted, I think
yes,
I don't really want to add on to this. Hold on, Brad. I don't want to add on to this cause for concern. But the other thing is you talked about his record without Tucker on the roster, but think about Tucker was the only player from West Virginia who was able to bring with him. Even guys that he had committed from high school, he wasn't able to bring with him. And so it's while you're trying to look at that and not call that a red flag, I don't. If you were trying to stack reasons to be concerned right now, I think that'd be another one that could come back up right now. Now, at the same time, I don't fall in that boat, but I'm saying it's these things start to resurface when you think about what is possible in year one at a program. At the same time, we went into this season talking about what the expectations of this team should be and what is realistic and where they need, where they realistically are versus where they need to be. And yeah, I don't know. I do think it's more than fair to question some of these things. Yeah, I did look it up. He has won a tournament game without Tucker. Happened in 2021. They beat Wichita State as an 11 seed, beat the 6 seed Wichita State that year. So I guess there's some sort of resemblance of success there, sustained success without Tucker. We don't even have a sample yet on it, and it's just concerning. I think we just need to wait it out. Give this guy a Michigan roster and Illinois roster. Yeah, I think they'd be a top 4 seed.
with Darren DeVries at the helm, like they just would. So I do think it's because he does run a college game. He comes from the Dana Altman tree. I think there's a lot of reasons to like D-Rock, but at the same time, it's like we need results and we need them fast, and it needs to happen next year. And that's kind of where it's at. If we're spending this much money on basketball and if we're going to continue to do it like that, the results need to follow quickly. It's not, oh, it takes 3 years because clearly it doesn't. You know, you look at Vanderbilt being in the top 15 this year. Plenty of other examples. Nebraska, Fred Hoiberg. Obviously, it's going to take some time, but like they went in the portal and they got Price Samford. They put the puzzle together and then they figured it out.
Hoiberg's not a really. Hoiberg's had 5 years.
True, but I mean, that's
what I'm saying. It's like I think it's more than fair to be frustrated, especially in the portal era. And when you look at like
there can only be one winner. That's another point.
People are gonna do the whole Dusty thing, and we're gonna like people are gonna do the Kurt Signetti thing. Where like, look what he did in 1 year and 2 years, and it's like, yeah, it's unbelievably frustrating. And it's I go back to like I remember having a conversation with our buddy Jackson Johnson, who runs the Alabama channel, and it's like try telling the Alabama football fans that they shouldn't win enough. It's right. It's like what? So it's I don't know. I don't. Frustrating is the right word because you're right with when you have the resources in the fan base and the amount of talent that it seems like Indiana has, like you would like to be winning, especially against Northwestern, more than you are. You want to wrap basketball there? I think it's
yeah. I mean, it's not even like an expectations thing. Like I'm the first to say how this team hasn't really done anything relevant this century. Like they haven't, and but it really just comes down to the now, and the now is this team does spend money on it, so the results need to follow. And if that means a tighter leash on DeVries, that means a tighter leash on DeVries. It just does. And I'm not saying he's good or bad. I'm saying I think I'm reining back my take that he's the guy. I'm not saying he is or isn't. That's it. I think that's my bow.
I think that's fair. All right.
Now he can come out and beat Michigan State next week and shut us all up. So, we got 3 games. Here's the reality. If they beat Michigan State, they're right back in. And then they basically have to win out. If they win out, they're in. So figure it out. Michigan State's really fucking good, though. They got bigs. They're big. And they got Cohen Carr. They're the best rebounding team in the country, by the way, Michigan State. So, not a great matchup for us. But if they win out, they're in. All right, that's the bow. Okay.
Bow on basketball. Okay. I debated on which direction or like when I wanted to bring this up, but it was the if we weren't like leading into a basketball game in the basketball situation, we would have led the show with this. But it was by far the biggest news in the football world this past week. But former Purdue player, NFL wide receiver Rondell Moore tragically passed away. The language around it, you can make of it what you will. Terribly tragic situation. Just a reminder to check on your friends, check on the people you care about, and just to talk to people if you got some stuff going on, things like that. It's an issue I know that Brad and I hold near and dear to our hearts, and something that a lot of people that are internally struggling with sometimes don't get the help they need. So just thoughts and prayers go out to Rondell Moore and his family and everyone affected.
Echo that. Check in on your friends. Don't be too hard on yourself. As someone who is probably also very hard on themselves in day-to-day life, I understand kind of the things that maybe Rondale Moore was feeling at times. It's very, this is a guy that was so like great human being. We can go on that, but when you get into the league and you have all this pressure and you come out and you're freshman All-American, like 3-time All-American, coming out, you have all this talent, and maybe it doesn't go to plan, and you're a high what do you call it, a high standards individual, and maybe the standards that you're trying to meet aren't coming to fruition. It can get a little tough. So just know that there's support systems around you. Check in on your friends. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people that feel the same sentiment as that in their life. And some things are just more important than meeting expectations of a certain goal and things you're trying to achieve in life, right? Like, people fail, people succeed. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, right? So I think just remembering that sentiment is probably the best way I can put it eloquently. And yeah, thoughts and prayers to the Moore family. Very, very tragic situation.
Horrible. Absolutely, absolutely horrible. There is no good way to transition away from that or move on from that. So I appreciate people like bearing with us, or I don't know if I'm just, yeah, we're gonna move on. But thoughts and prayers. Let's get into the week though, Brad. There was a lot of smoke. It is a massive, massive week for the Indiana Hoosiers football team. It is combine week. We are going to get players on the field, people interviewing with teams. It is a historic week. I just where is your head at as we start to head into what is going to be a really fun week for the Indiana Hoosiers at a time of year where traditionally this fan base has never cared about football?
I mean, it's pretty cool just being able to like kind of follow and just get excited to see where these guys are going to run. And yeah, I'm glad we're turning it to a kind of a got the harder stuff out first.
Yeah,
Yeah, so maybe do a positive note. Kids' lives are going to change. They're going to accomplish their dreams and get to the NFL. And as a team with a championship roster, there's all eyes are on this group of 9 going to the combine. On top of, we've already mentioned Wyatt Daly and Black and Mikhail Kamara, and I'll even throw Devon Boykin in there as guys that can potentially see their names called in April, which is very exciting for them. But I think being able to see Mendoza, him go through, I believe he's going through the drills and the physical stuff. He won't be throwing, but he'll be interviewing. We're going to see Roman Hemby run and do all the drills, and the drills aren't even. They matter. They want to see you move out there, but the interviews are going to be most important. And these guys are all going to like knock it out of the park when it comes to that stuff. Like coming from the Signetti system, like I don't even know what they're going to have to ask these guys. Like they're going to be so on the ball in terms of like what it means to be professional, because they run a professional program at Indiana. They already act like professionals. They've walked the walk. It's not they don't really have to convince anyone. So they just got to be true to themselves. They wouldn't have been in that program to begin with if they weren't, mentally capable of going to the NFL. And now they get to, really test their physical limits and hopefully all test well and well enough to get as high on draft boards as they possibly can and make as much money as they can initially in that first rookie contract. But all these guys are so well equipped to get to that second contract, which I think is a big piece of this. And I'm just happy for all the guys being able to get the opportunity. So Roman Hemby, Elijah Surratt, and Coop are flying up draft boards as top receivers. Like, you don't have that type of offense without good receivers. Coogan, who's we were saying even before the year, NFL size center, true NFL lineman. No D lineman, but we got Fish running, and think about his interview. His interview is gonna be crazy. Oh, I almost forgot Riley Nowakowski. I think he's probably the one they're most intrigued about seeing how he moves, as well as maybe Elijah Surratt. And then seeing Lou Moore be able to hopefully, if Lou Moore is able to run, him being old is going to be working against him. So his ability to kind of test out really well, I think will be important for him. And then D'Angelo Ponce is just going to knock it out of the park. We already know it. Dude's a freak. So just excited to see how all these guys pan out. And yeah, just super excited for them. And I mean, I could break them down as prospects more and more if we need, but yeah, just, I mean, that's for the, that's for the scouts to decide. I'm just a master of the eye test on a podcast. So, which, I think I'd do well in a office, but
no, I'm 100% with you. I think it's funny. I think I'm most excited for Elijah Surratt because I think a lot of people think he's going to be slow, and I have no idea what time he's going to run, but just play speed, the guy plays faster than people think. But D'Angelo Ponce is the person the player who's most built for this event. Like he was track speed, jumps out of the gym, uber athletic, like loves to compete. Just I'm super excited for him to be able to like put some of those doubters to rest about his size and just kind of get out in the field and go do the damn thing. But it's funny to look at, take it away from Indiana football for a second. Like Mendoza's a clear lock for the #1 pick, right? Like I recircled Mark Davis's comments about why they went and hired Clint Kubiak from a couple weeks ago. But for the #2 pick, this becomes a really interesting week. Right now, Arvell Reese is the favorite on FanDuel. He's -115. Right behind him is Bailey at +150, Ruben Bain at +550, and then Caleb Downs at +3,300, which I thought was kind of interesting. I think any of those guys are in play at 3. Or at 2. I have no idea what the Jets are going to do, and I think this week a lot of those guys have an opportunity to turn heads, as well as obviously a lot of the Indiana Hoosier guys. So a couple of the things that stuck out to me, but yeah, obviously D'Angelo Ponce is the guy I'm circling this week.
Here's what's funny about the draft. Downs isn't going to go 2 because he's a safety, and it's not as
I know, but he kind of should.
But he's going to be the biggest star out of this draft. Like he is the most sure thing in this whole draft. Like there's no doubt about it. Like that guy's going to be an absolute stud. He's the closest thing. I mean, like it's crazy to compare him to Ed Reed, who I think is the greatest football player of all time. When it's like Ed Reed didn't even like test super well. That's what's so funny about this whole thing is that like there's so many like good football players that just don't test well, but they're just good football players. And like, yeah, it's nice to have your 6'3", DB that runs a 4.4. Like Seattle Seahawks are full of them, and they won the Super Bowl. So like, there's some benefits to that, but like, you can make a career in the NFL not testing well, just being a good football player. Like Wes Welker, I think Mike Leach said it best. Like when he was talking about Wes Welker one time, I saw this quote recently, and he was saying how I didn't expect Wes Welker to make the combine. Didn't really expect him to get drafted. Didn't expect him to measure well. Did expect him to make a training camp. And once he made a training camp, I knew it'd be very hard to get rid of him. And I feel like there's going to be plenty of guys, not even IU related, that are coming out through this draft. And one of them I can point to is Elijah Surratt, who's probably very much like that. But he has that production and winning resume to shoot him up and give him the benefit of the doubt, which many guys probably don't have. Like Hunter Renfrow, right? That's a great example of just a good football player. Doesn't wow you with measurables. Great football player. Made a good living in the NFL for a short amount of time. But yeah, there's plenty of opportunity in just being a good football player. And yes, the measurables are important in order to make your money on the front end, but it's really just about once you get the training camp, what are you going to do? And these guys coming from Cignetti, you just can't wait to see them make the program super proud by having long, great NFL careers. I think one of the great things that is so awesome about having Cignetti here is that he is like the old school, like I turn boys to men type coach, which you don't have too much these days. It's all flash and how much are you going to pay me and stuff like that. And he does that.
Like, how much can you be my best friend versus like, I'm going to mentor and develop you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to really bode well for anyone that rolls through this program and starts on this Indiana team moving forward. And it's going to set them up for success in not just NFL, but in life. And but obviously, getting that second contract is what they're thinking about right now. Like they're not worried about life after football. Like these kids are all going to have great careers. for long periods of time. So yeah, just excited to see them test well, even though it really doesn't matter, and just allow them to kind of showcase what they're all about, and yeah, wishing them all the best. I mean, should we do like some pre-draft grades? I mean, I feel like we've done it before, right? Like Coogan's gonna should go like
We
round
actually
4 or
haven't.
5.
We really haven't. Like we kind of we did it before the playoff run, but we really have abstained from future talk until after the season, and we've also held off from doing draft grade stuff because the draft is I think it's in 2 months, so plenty of time to talk about the draft. But if you want to go give them right now before I think this is a good time for it. Is kind of my point. Because you can give them now, and then next week we'll have the testing numbers, and then we'll have a real idea of how these NFL teams are going to draft these guys, and then we can really make some accurate predictions. So I think now would be a good. This would be a good how can we put this on the mantle for the master of the eye test? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think Mendoza's probably gonna go first overall.
He's a lock, dude. Every time we speak, the odds get deeper. I think he's it's hilarious what the odds are right now.
I think Hemby goes round 4, which is actually pretty high for a running back. I think he brings that kick return element game to a team, that I think is going to be really valuable, especially nowadays with the new kickoff rule. Cooper round 1, round 2.
No, I'm going to force you to make a prediction.
Make a prediction?
Mm-hmm. Well, because if we're going to do it
I think he'll go round 1. And it depends on, which is fucked because it's not what really matters, but I would take him round 1. If he doesn't run a certain time, I could see him going round 2, if that makes sense. Anyways.
It makes sense.
Okay, so Rat round 2. Nowakowski round 6, just position.
But there's gonna be a fight over him. There's gonna be multiple.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 12 teams tried to trade up for Nowakowski.
And then
that's only 5.
Coogan round 4.
Ooh.
Kamara, I would take him round 3, personally, but he's not even going to the combine. But we have suspicions that he's not 100% healthy right now, so he doesn't really need to go. I think he'll have a crazy pro day. I think people are going to finally see how he moves and just kind of watch the film and figure it out. Daly and Wyatt are the biggest. They can go anywhere from round 3 to 7. Just because of the injuries, I don't know how much that's going to knock them.
Brian Haynes came out last week and told the Daily Hoosier that he thought, or I don't know who he told, but I saw it from the Daily Hoosier that he said Stephen Daly was the best defensive end in football last year.
Which he probably was.
I agree. Yeah. The guy led the Big Ten in tackles for loss. He played half the games.
Yeah. Yeah, I would take Daly round 3 just because I know if he was able to run, he'd probably run really 4.6, which is crazy. Wyatt, it's the same boat.
No, I think he'd be faster than that. I think he'd be faster than 4.6.
Yeah, but he's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker more than a D lineman. Daly is a 4-3 D end.
No, I'm saying I think Daly, based on what Daly was running as a high schooler, as a senior, he
40's different than 100. But yeah, 4.5 still really fast. That equates to what his 100 time is. Wyatt, I'm with the injury, he's probably gonna go round 4 or 5.
No, we got. I'm just putting 5.
Fisher round. Oh my god, I want him to go to the Bears so bad. I'd take him round 3 to the Bears all day. All day. I love that so much. Fisher round 3. Pawns round 1. We're being honest, when they redraft, this might not be what happened. When we redraft, Pawns is gonna be a first round guy. Like your teams are gonna like he'll be a top 32 guy in this draft when we all look back on it. Lou Moore, round 4. I think he's a day 1 starter, so I think round 3 low key. Like a lot of these guys are, and
Yeah, I saw somebody had a con for him as like he's an ankle
Boykin
tackler.
around 7. Like I feel like this team has a lot of potential draft picks on this roster.
I saw somebody have it was like a con for Lou Moore, and it was like he's an ankle tackler. It's like you tell me you didn't tell me you watched like the one highlight where Lou Moore like tried to get a guy in the open field. You know what I mean? Like that is like the complete opposite of the way that guy played football. Like absolutely insane takeaway to say you watch tape.
Yeah, watch I would say watch the Oregon tape again.
Crazy.
Devon Boykin, what really sticks out to me is that like he didn't look. It's hard to not look like an NFL player when you literally just like baby Maryland, just like strip the quarterback, pick up the ball, run in for a touchdown, like literally just baby him. Like I am an NFL player. You are not. Like I am. Like that is the most. Like that is the stuff that you should just look for. Like I don't care what he runs or tests. Like he's a good football player. Like I know how to strip the ball, pick it up, run it for a touchdown. Period.
I like it. I like it. I don't really have much of a take of this other than I thought it was ridiculous. David Pollack had a take last week that he said college offensive lines have no punch. And while I understand what he was saying, it's just go watch Bob Bostad and the guys move people.
I'd say for the most part, I think he was more frustrated in the fact that there's like guys out there that probably should be a little more mean to him. What's good about Indiana and why we're so successful is because our guys do have some mean to them. And we coach that. We coach them how to use their athleticism to their advantage. Yeah, I think it's just a well-executed
One of those
alignment.
guys. I was gonna say one of those guys, Brad, was Ademola Ajani, and he was a remember the name guy from us last year. All off season, we were like talking like remember Ajani, he's gonna make an impact. So I feel pretty good about that one, and obviously about the Indiana offensive line for sure. Kurt Signetti had a conversation on campus with the students, which was awesome. He's been doing that yearly, which was really cool. That event obviously popped off per usual. The other biggest thing that came out of this week, Brad, was the NCAA, and I put it in quotes because it's utterly ridiculous. They threatened to vacate wins and to come after Indiana's. They can't even come after the national title because the organization has nothing to do with it, but they want to challenge the validity of Indiana's season based on like their rules of restitution from like the 70s or some bullshit like that. Basically, they made a whole headline about how they can come and grab the national championship. Brian Lawton told us when we spoke to him after the injunction was given to Lou Moore that the NCAA is an awful, awful organization. This is just another one of those examples. But all of the people in the legal field that I've seen have a take about this, whether it's Mitt Winter, whether it's Sam C. Elrick, who's a assistant law professor at Boise State, it's essentially like not happening. Good luck to the NCAA trying to prove some of these rules in the courts they're trying to prove them in based on some of the past decisions that have happened. So just a way for the organization to grab headlines and just an empty baseless threat.
Yeah, making them look fools of themselves once again. Yeah, they could probably take away 13 of the wins, but they can't take away the 3-0 run in the CFP, which crowned them national title champions. So it's basically a baseless, clickbaity headline, period, point blank. Can't take away the natty, take away the wins. I don't care. Banners hang forever. And no one's going to remember how they got their wins vacated. And it's not even going to happen anyways. So,
yeah, they can't even come grab the wins based on the rules.
If you're going to do that, let's take away
Vanderbilt's
wins. Let's take away. There's a lot of teams. Then we should just start taking away. We should just take away all the wins from last year. At that point, did you see Chandler Morris asking for a 7th year?
That was nuts, dude.
I really hope they don't grant him. I really hope so because he arguably shouldn't have played last year because he had the COVID year. I think he's played 6 years, had the COVID year, and then he's basically gotten the 5 years. Like if you include one of the years where he's played every year, argue one of those as a redshirt year, played the other 4, like you're done. period. I'm as pro player as they get. You're done. Go get a job. I can actually help you out. Chandler Morris, hit my line. I can help get you a job. Okay. I love that referral check. Anyways.
Hit up Brad, Chandler. You heard him. Shout out to Michael Conway, who released a compilation of the graphics he created this year for Indiana football on his Behance. If you know what Behance is, if not, the link's on his profile. But all the graphics you saw come out, all the dope ones, all the like schedule this and weekly graphics and stuff. Him and the team were responsible for, and so definitely go check those out. That was dope. It was the 1 month anniversary of the national championship last week, Brad, on the 19th. So I hope you celebrated.
Ooh, yeah, no, I did celebrate.
And then we got the conclusion of, we talked about the clause put in Curt Cignetti's contract that he signed back in October that if they win the Peach Bowl, if they win the Rose Bowl, that it triggers an escalator where he has to become a top 3 highest paid coach in the sport within 120 days. We got the conclusion of that clause last week. Curt Cignetti signed a new contract. He's now making, what was it, $13.2 million. If depending on where you look, he's the highest or second highest paid coach in the country, which completely deserved. We all knew that was coming though. And yeah, the fact that like that he is now paid the way that he should be paid, and so we move forward. But really exciting stuff, obviously, for Cignetti to go from where he was at James Madison 2 years ago to now at the top of the sport, where he belongs. Brad, you don't spend enough time on Twitter probably to see that the conversation about the NCAA threatening Indiana triggered a bunch of the Miami fans. We got a outpouring of emotions from the Miami fan base. They were very upset.
Miami fans so much. It is. I'm sick of them. And they warned us too. Like Ohio State fans warned us. They told us that once we beat them in a natty, they'll be obsessed with us for 2 decades. And it's only getting worse. 2 months in. It is. I'm exhausted already. I'm sick of them. Let's just schedule a home and kick the shit out of them. Like I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to just dissuade my take of, because I think expanding to 24 would incentivize teams to schedule harder games, and I think let's do that so then we could schedule Miami home and beat the piss out of them anyways, and go on our merry way. And I don't know. I hope we see them next year. That'd be so sick. Can't wait. Anyways, what are you gonna say?
But the biggest gripe coming out of the fan base was like the fact that there was a text message allegedly about a PDF, and this account was trying to say that the PDF was Miami's playbook and tried to argue that that's why Indiana won the game. And so our friends over at Kirkwood and Dunn posted like breaking news. We've obtained the PDF, like in the replies is the reason why Indiana was able to beat Miami. And you click on the replies and it's just this big picture of Carson Beck.
I think this is like how you know who actually knows ball and who doesn't, who's a 12-year-old and who's an adult who's played football before. Like my freshman football coach said it best. Like you should be able, other team should be able to know exactly what you're running, and you should still be able to execute it. Period. That's football. I said the same exact thing about the Connor Stallions. Like, I don't know. Figure it out. I don't know what to tell you. It makes them look a lot dumber than they think they're coming off as. Like it's crazy. I don't know. I hope it's just clickbait, but I think they're dead serious. And
I think they are serious. I think it's equally as funny as it is frustrating. Yeah. We referenced it a little bit earlier, but Omar Cooper Jr. is flying up draft boards, like flying up draft boards. He was outside a lot of people's top 50s not 2 weeks ago. Me and you have been screaming for a year plus basically at this point, and probably even longer than that if we go back to the Sigs and Side days, that Omar Cooper Jr. is one of the most disrespected wide receivers, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country. That was something that me and you had repeated ad nauseum during the offseason.
He was better than I thought he was going to be. Like,
to see him get the level of praise from the national media and from the not just like the dynasty draft community, but the now like the actual full blown like NFL community, and like he's gonna go like have a sick combine. And it's gonna be really cool to go watch him go and perform and raise his stock even more. And it's just that's a player that when you looked at Indiana's roster when Kurt Signetti took over, it's one of, like we've been saying, one of the few blue chip guys on the roster that like the talent was very, very evident regardless of who was throwing him the football, where the football was going, or who was doing the coaching. And so when you talk about specifically at the receiver position, can Indiana develop these guys into NFL guys? It's like Elijah Surratt went from Division II to should be a top 40 NFL pick. Omar Cooper Jr. went from who knows what's going to happen in his college career to now he's going to be a top 25 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Maybe even higher. It's they are putting it out on paper how unbelievable the development at all positions are, but specifically at the wide receiver position. It is unbelievably impressive stuff.
Yeah. Players develop players. Let's get that straight. But Indiana provides an environment that allows players to become the best versions of themselves. No player comes out of high school being an NFL player. I don't care if you're a 5-star or a 2-star. So it just depends on all the work that you put in your 3, 4, 5 years in college, and that's what's going to get you to the league. Yes, some are given with more God-given talent and ability than others, but at the end of the day, players develop players. Are you going to put in the work? Are you going to separate yourself? And Omar Cooper is an exemplifying example. One of the few blue chip guys on this roster, and all of a sudden, wow. First round. Oh, hello. Like, go figure.
Who's another blue chip guy in this roster, Brad, who's coming back? Actually, I'd have to go back and look and see if.
Give me the name. Give me the name. I'll stat correct you.
Is Bones?
No, but he was high fringe 3-star.
Fringe. Not that it matters. Stars don't matter, but
yeah, he's a Tom Allen guy that I was very high on when we brought him in. I was pretty pumped about the Bones Jones signing when we brought him in the Tom Allen days. Yeah, he's back.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Speaking of recruiting, Brad, I don't have any like specific. Well, actually, there is one specific note. We got a official Wilt Fong prediction for Jace Brewster, class of 2027 on the defensive line. We'll see what happens when Brewster makes his official decision. I'm not sure when that date is. I think he cut his list to 6. But Wilt Fong, obviously, I believe he's at like 91% or something. Is like I saw somewhere. So when he makes a prediction, like there's some validity there. He's not just throwing his name behind things. And so some really exciting stuff happening on the recruiting trail for the Hoosiers, but just the official visits and the amount of talent and the level of talent and it's a lot of really, really exciting stuff going on in the world of recruiting for the Hoosiers, and we'll keep bringing it to you as it comes. But Jace Brewster, Brad, me and you walked past Jace Brewster. Do you remember this?
Brewer.
Is it Jace Brewer?
Brewer.
You should.
You're thinking of Jalen Brewster, the 5-star.
You're right. I wanted to, because in my head they were like, I wanted to make them like cousin, like fake cousins. You know what I mean? Like same last name, but not related. No, you're right. It's Jace Brewer. Stat correcting live. But yeah, Jace Brewer got the Wilt Fong prediction. But yeah, what do you
made a funny comment in our chat where it's like, yeah, we've been getting guys with the right stuff, but now we're starting to get guys with the most stuff, which I think is really, really exciting. Not only do they have the hype in terms of where they're at right now coming out of high school, they also have the right stuff, which is what Signetti looks for, and the ankle width. Allegedly, that's always the funniest thing to me. Anyways.
I love it. Yeah. So obviously recruiting news as it happens, we'll keep bringing it to you, and we'll keep an eye on Brewers' official recruitment date. We'll bring you the news as it happens. Obviously, Brad, you touched on it. Devon Boykin officially declared for the NFL draft. Obviously, you had to have declared a couple weeks ago. That was the deadline, but he released his like official I declared.
That's a guy that was done. like Chandler Morris. Like, you're done.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't ever he was coming back. It came out on the timeline.
He's just letting people know, like, hey, I'm here. Like, I am draft eligible, and I played on a championship team. Great marketing by him.
The Olympics ended, Brad, with U.S. hockey taking home gold for both the men and the women's, which was utterly insane, utterly ridiculous. Both overtime winners. Shout out to New Jersey Devils' own Jack Hughes. And shout out to the U.S.
One.
hockey teams. That was awesome. And then obviously also shout out
First
to
gold
Alyssa
medal
Liu.
since 1980. It's back home, baby. First time winning with pros being allowed to play hockey, so that's a big step in the right direction. What's great about what they did and how they did it is U.S. Hockey's had this philosophy: is we're never going to be able to build the most talented team. That's going to be Canada, always, forever. And they assembled the greatest team, the Death Star. And then, I always say zig when they zag, right? What USA Hockey did is we're going to build the best team. We're going to build a team full of grinders and gritty players, good players. Don't get me wrong. Like the Hughes brothers to Chuck brothers, like those are staples in the league. And they're all NHL guys. But we're going to build the best team. And fucking shout out Hellebuck, man. What a fucking game. Put us on our back at the end of it. Like I could say all this stuff about all our guys, but Hellebuck took us home there. And that game could have easily been 5-1. And he made it. Gave us a chance for Jack Hughes to get it done. So, shout out the team. They made it gritty, made it uncomfortable for them. And, when you put it, there's something to say about you put together a team of grinders and gritty players and a team that's going to wear you out. And you're like, oh my God, but McKinnon missed a wide open net. Why do you think he missed a wide open net? Because the dude's been getting shots all game.
It was George Washington's birthday.
Yeah. Damn right. And yeah, go USA. A fantastic win for the men's and women's, going 2-0, getting a sweep in hockey. Never been done before by the US. A great day to be an American. And if you have anything else to say about it, like I don't know what to tell you. It's not political. Like it's USA Hockey. Like get it. Like I don't know what to tell you. You live here. I don't know what all that hoopla was about. I didn't even engage in it. I just knew there was a bunch of hoopla going around. I didn't look anything into it.
No. I also wanted to shout out Alyssa Liu. I've been like alternating between her gold medal skate and her like exhibition skate or whatever you call that. And she's like full blown the next like US superstar. Her like growth, her following, she went from like 200,000 followers to like over 5 million followers. But she's a superstar. The Olympics are awesome. Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I woke up and watched all the events, but it's like, yeah, it's cool to watch people like, especially if you were an athlete at any point in your life, like growing up at all, and like if you ever had any aspiration of like trying to compete at the next level, whether you did it or not, like to have any type of understanding about how hard somebody has to work to reach that level of competition, and then to see so many people from the United States having success in events that we typically haven't had success in. It's really exciting. So I don't know. I enjoyed it.
12 gold medals, the most ever won by a U.S. team. Feels like they almost do that every Olympics. It's pretty cool. We'll figure it out in curling one day. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. It's like the one sport we've like never won it. It's
Dude, the Barstool guys doing the curling was actually like the first time I'd ever seen anybody outside an Olympian do it. And I'm like wondering if you just like set it up as like a meme or something. Like could you make it like pickleball? You can't do it in the summer though. That's the thing.
Well, you just need to find an ice rink, and as long as
we do it indoors.
Indoors.
It's interesting. I never knew when you curl that you're actually like melting the ice in front of the thing that's like, we don't.
Yeah, it actually takes a lot of upper body strength to.
Watching Kadick try and like do the broom thing though is awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It's awesome. Speaking of Indiana offensive linemen, Carter Smith was seen in a sling walking into Assembly Hall. A lot of people were, and I'm going to say rightfully so, having some kind of like, I don't want to say shocked opinions about it, or like kind of taken aback by the fact that he may or may not have had some sort of procedure to clean it up. Daniel Johnson on the Indiana strength staff, I believe, responded to Hoosier Commission, told him to relax when he was like, what's happening here? But it's not a big deal. It's a procedural thing. If Kurt Signetti was freaking out about this and they were talking about how like the Indiana, like we're worried about our offensive line depth and what none of that's happening. As far as we know, Carter's he's obviously not completely fine because his arm's in a sling, but it's also February and they don't play like quote unquote real football until the end, like literally September 6th. So
he'll be fine. I'm not.
He's gonna be ready. He's gonna be ready. Bison drop back at it again this week, Brad. The big auction is a signed Mendoza Heisman program, which is sick. And then the social drop is a sign from the Crimson Guard. So shout out to the Crimson Guard, who's rough night for the Crimson Guard. But check out Bison drop. That's what's going on there. We got I don't know if you're a Film Watchers guy, Brad, but Film Watchers on both YouTube, socials. I like his clips and the way he breaks down different sets and NFL stuff. And he broke down some Fernando Mendoza stuff. He had a comp. He had some takes about him. I didn't agree with the full thing, but I did think it was pretty cool to see Fernando Mendoza on Film Watchers. So if you didn't see that, definitely go check that out.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Brad, like I said to start the show, like the show is titled and how I want to end the show. Indiana made the announcement that season tickets went on sale today. And just a short while later, just a few short hours later, all of the tickets were gone. Last week, Brad, we had a talk on this program about what do upgrades at Memorial Stadium look like? What does expanding the capacity potentially look like? And the conclusion that we both came to was the fact that until you have what we would consider a substantial wait list for Indiana football tickets, there's no reason to expand capacity.
Well, here we are.
I don't know what the numbers are for the wait list, Brad, but we have a wait list for Indiana football season tickets.
Yeah, it's time to expand the rock, isn't it? But I mean, the press box needs upgrading. We got to put in seats. I mean, I feel like we can expand and put in seats at the same time. But at the same time, we can't do all these projects at once. It's like, I guess we could play in Lucas Oil for a year. I guess we can make that work, right? Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think, yeah. I mean, I just came up with a great idea. I think a season in Lucas Oil. Like, I think we'd be able to sell out Lucas Oil for home games, right? Or
no, it's anti-student. See, that's the UCLA fan in you where you're like, I'm okay driving 45 minutes to go watch my team play. It's
we're not playing in Bloomington North High School. We're not going to play there. That's the nearest stadium, you know? Like, there's literally no other option other than that. If we're going to do
no cool lakes,
full 12-month renovation. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ideas to kind of float around. I think, honestly, I think we can make it work with the students as well. I think there's shuttles that we can do, and for a year, I think we can make it work, especially when you're having the success that we're having. The issue is like when UCLA was winning in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, getting students to take a shuttle from Westwood to Pasadena was not an issue. Like it only became an issue when they weren't winning. So when you're winning, you can make that stuff work, and people will buy in and do it. Yeah, it's a little bit of uplift, but for the greater good of the stadium, could be a good idea. We'll see. Maybe they'll do it in bits and pieces, maybe small renovations every off season for the next 5 years. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how they do, and it'll be great to follow. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm an eye test guy for stadium reconstruction and renovations. I'm not an architect. Could have been a fun job.
Maybe we'll
building Legos, but not really my wheelhouse.
Let me ask you this from a high level perspective, because I know I like that's a very serious conversation we were having about the expansion of Memorial Stadium. I didn't expect to be having the second leg of that conversation 7 days later. But from a 30,000 foot view, we started talking about what this program could possibly look like in July of 2024. What does it mean that the fact that we're sitting here in February of 2026 and you literally can't get a ticket for Indiana Hoosiers football?
It's surprising that it happened this fast. I mean, we thought we'd get here eventually. And even then, like, I think the take was like, if we can just get to consistent 9 wins a year, like this would probably be the issue at hand, like selling out season tickets, things like that, like getting people bought in. Like Indiana's a football state. You know, you got the Colts, you got the Irish, you got the Hoosiers, and you got the Bears now. And true football state, You got all the big
We're gonna talk
four.
about that in a second, actually. I totally
No, we
forgot.
got the
We
big
mentioned that
four
last
out
week.
here, and it's I don't know. People are bought in and are fanatically about the Hoosiers. So like, definitely earlier than expected, and at a probably a um greater level than anticipated. But yeah, just a great place to be at. We've been following it the whole time. It's been so awesome just to kind of do it, doing these shows and uh, just having fun, kind of following it, and almost being forced to almost follow it this closely in depth because we do the show and knowing all these things and kind of seeing how it works and how it's done. And now being able to, like, as someone who watches from a national, like, I can tell, hence master of the eye test, like I can see it pretty quickly if it's going well or if it's not. And you can bring in all these flashy transfer portal classes like LSU, but we'll see. I mean, I think Lane Kiffin's going to be good. And when we preview the offseason and we talk about all these other teams that could, target the throne, one thing we have in our back pocket is that we have a true program and the gold standard in terms of how things are done in the 12-team portal era, aka the 12-team playoff era, aka the portal NIL era of college football. And we have the leg up on everyone because we set the standard. We are the the most modern version of college football. We are the staple. And until proven otherwise, like, it's going to stay that way.
I agree. And I think the thing that gets me most excited is we knew that this was eventually going to be an inevitability, and we know that given the momentum around the program, that when people look at this team and say, well, it's a one-hit wonder, or it was just the JMU guys, or XYZ, right?
Reasons to
These
be
are those
concerned for sure. Like,
these are those benchmarks you want to hit that are proof that we aren't just crazy people yelling at clouds, that we actually understand what we're looking at, and that this is a program operating at the highest level nationally. It is unbelievably exciting stuff. And I just I wrote the lyrics of like this the Bad Boys song of like, so we ain't going nowhere. Like this team is going nowhere. This program is going nowhere. Like they're in prime position to compete both financially, with the fan base, with the roster. That they obviously have the best coaching staff in the country. Administration wise, they're ready to compete. So this is a football powerhouse, and whether people are going to acknowledge it or not, like the proof is in the pudding. And that is where we've landed 2 years into the Kurt Signetti experience. And like this isn't something, again, that's super surprising, right? Like when I would have conversations with people, like during the season in different fan bases, they'd look at Kurt Signetti even before the Oregon game, and you're like, well, eventually that guy's going to get one, right? And now it's like, yeah, he is, and you have to contend with that because the one came quick, and the program is about as healthy as you possibly can be, and is somehow getting better.
I mean, I feel like I knew after the Nebraska game year one that he was going to get one eventually. It was just about closing that talent gap, and he did it like that. And
no, I'm saying people in outside
cool.
fan bases.
I think you said something interesting where it's like it is a theme. Like no JMU guys, like guys with like it's just a different group. And I think things to like year over year, like it is. Signetti says it himself. It's like you're building a new house. Each season is like building a new house. Winter workouts is building the foundation. And I think one thing that's really encouraging early on, Daniel Johnson, who's on the strength staff, you mentioned earlier, who was there last year. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's been there since Sig showed up.
One of the things I like that he said was quick little snippet on Twitter. I like this group. All work. Period. That's it. That's all he said. So like I feel like with that in mind, I feel like we got the right pieces, got the guys committed to the end goal. They understand what they need to do. Like I said, they have this great structure. Everything's very detailed. They understand what they need to do. Give the kids some structure. It gives them the structure to be the best that they can be. Not wasting anyone's time. Yada yada yada. Now, this team? I think what makes this team, last year's team, special was their ability to gel. I think that really paid forward when they had those key moments against Iowa and Penn State and Miami and Ohio State when things got really tight and gritty. How were they able to pull it out? It's because they're cohesive as a unit and their ability to gel, not just on the field, but off the field. And I think going through that motion again will be hard to replicate, but we'll see. It'll be different. It will never be the same, but can they do it in a way to be the best they can be, not just individually, but as a team and as a unit? And I think that'll be really cool to follow and kind of see what they do. But regardless, they're going to be like, even if they don't, they're still going to be like 10-win team, make the playoff, like dominate, kick the shit out of teams. Like, but when it comes down to, you know, the scary moments, like can they pull it off, and can they get it done? And that, like, whenever I say, like, you know, going into the whole this, like, welcome to the show, like it's a coin flip, like these big games, like that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, can they do it? They can.
That's why we watch.
It's like can, but will they? And that's why we watch football, and that's why we you know, that's why we're fans of sports, and it's just cool having a team that's always going to be in the conversation now. It's great.
Program interest is high, Brad. Program investment might be even higher, and that's a beautiful place to be for an Indiana Hoosiers football fan.
Oh yeah.
You got any closing thoughts?
No closing thoughts. When are we going to start breaking down the roster in more depth, though, Keezer? When's that going to start happening? When does spring start?
Spring starts beginning of March.
Unbelievable.
We can do roster breakdown next week. I think that's a perfect time to segue from, we'll break down the combine, talk about how the guys did and who performed and who didn't, and set up pro day. That's April 1st, I believe. And then we can break down the roster next week because you've been itching to do it. And yeah, we can do that.
Great. Yeah, I like that this was a quick little episode, quick little teaser. Just get through the stuff. You know, it's a late one. We're still focused on basketball a little bit, and as we should be. You know, we are a football school that has basketball tradition, so basketball is always going to be a talking point with this program, and because I think it ties into it, right? Like the success with football will eventually
be a both school. There is room for both. There is room for both. There's not a debate at which program is having more success right now, but there is definitely room for both. I have a closing thought, Brad. I'm doing a lot of talking this week. I'll be on a show tomorrow night. And I'll have details about when that comes out. And yeah, our friends over at Kirkwood and Dunn are celebrating 100 episodes this weekend. Something special coming down the pipe for that as well. So I'll be doing some chatting this week.
Love it.
Yeah. That's all I got, Brad.
Cool.
Please like, comment, share.
Any updates on any guests?
No, no.
Okay.
Not yet. Yeah. But we'll talk. Me and you
we got some special things in the works. Don't know if it's gonna. They're Hail Marys. That's what I'll say.
No, they're not Hail Marys. Actually, no. It's more of a timing thing on my end. But I'll fill you in, Brad. I'm actually really excited. I'm glad you reminded me. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. Like Brad just said, and like I kind of just teased, nothing's set in stone yet, but like we've got a deep bag of potential guests we can bring on. So we're going to start leaning into that as the off season goes on as well. So obviously stick around for that. If you're watching on X, I actually have no idea if the X stream or the Twitter stream ended up going through. I'm seeing on the StreamYard side that it's good. I think on the Twitter side, when I pinned it, it wasn't great. But if you're watching on X, hop on over to YouTube. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me at Alec Keiser. Follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. Follow the Voice of College Football at the VOCFB. Follow Indiana at the Voice of College Football at Indiana VOCFB. And shout out to the boys, Wave, Nick, Skrull, Signar, the intro song 1621, the outro song, The Sweet Sound of Butter Symphony. Brad, it is a hell of a time to be an Indiana Hoosiers football fan. And somehow the news just keeps coming. And the reason why, like I said, we haven't broke down the future roster yet is because the team just keeps giving us more and more to talk about. We'll have more and more to talk about this week when the guys get on the field for combine drills and all that good stuff. So action-packed episode for next week as well, Brad. So we'll chat again next week.
I'll see you then. Talk to you later.
Go Hoosiers. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Go Hoosiers.